What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. I wanted to get on here real quick and talk about this topic of abusive people and not letting them have control over your life. That can come in the form of your emotions. That can be physical control that they try to have over you. That could be, in a sense, almost even a spiritual control over you. And so let's get it in. Let's talk about a few things concerning the characteristics of abusive people. They are obsessed with attention and they're very insecure. And so an abusive person will want to control you by their actions, and they'll try to intimidate you by whether it be their voice, whether it be their physique, whether it could even be in the form of their own emotions, right? They could control you with their own emotions. And because they're severely insecure and because they're not settled in their own identity, what they want to do is capture someone else who's a victim, right? Someone who is prey, and they'll take that individual and they'll abuse them, right? They'll take advantage of them. They'll try to make them feel real low so that they can make themselves feel better. And so what needs to happen is the person who's being abused, whether it be emotionally, someone who's being taken advantage of, whether it be in a male-female relationship or even a, worker-boss relationship. What needs to happen is you need to stand up and speak up for yourself. And the fear of what might be oftentimes leads people not to speak up, and then they inevitably end up where they were in the same position, empty, broken, and they continue to be hurt and led astray. On and on and on and on and on it goes. So it's important that you're very clear on what it is you want as an individual when you're dealing with an abusive person. Now, maybe the person that let's say you deem this individual to be abusive, maybe they weren't that way. Maybe some kind of trauma took place in their life and now they are an abusive person. And again, it doesn't mean just physical abuse, right? Obviously, that is one aspect of abuse. But then you have people who are emotionally abusive, where they play with your feelings and they want to string you along, never really making a commitment to you, or just, like I said, stringing you along, giving you just enough of a commitment to keep you by their side or to keep you in their life. I didn't have any concept of emotional abuse until later in life, where I was in a relationship. And by the way, this could be parent to child, or it could be husband and wife, it could be boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, it could be, again, all those scenarios. But I found myself in a position where I was allowing someone else's emotions to dictate my decisions. And it was hazardous for me, and it affected my psyche, right? It affected my decision making. It affected my confidence. It affected my own, my own being, man. And then what happens is you end up by default thinking and acting and doing those things that you hate to other people. So abusive people are hurt and they are weak and they're afraid and they need to be told the truth, but people don't because they're afraid of them. So I want to encourage you, if you find yourself in an abusive relationship, to stand up and speak up for yourself. Don't allow the abuse to continue. Don't allow the pain and the hurt and maybe even the shame that you feel to continue, but instead speak up. do the hardest thing you'll probably ever do in your life and open your mouth and resist the abuse. Speak against the abuse, because if you don't, time goes by fast and you will find yourself in the same predicament 10, 20, 30 years from now, and you will look back and say, I've wasted my life. I wasted my life. And you will in essence, as it were, hate yourself for allowing the abuse to continue. So do the hardest thing you'll probably ever have to do and just open your mouth. And what you'll find is when you do that, when you stand against someone who is abusive and you speak up for yourself, what you'll find is you will resolve that this is something you should have done years ago. Okay? Years ago. And this is also by way of even social media, right? If you have people on your friends list, for example, that are just abusive in language or conduct towards you, even if they profess to be a believer, whether it be they're trolling you or mocking you, you need to consider whether or not that's someone you want to have in your life, right? So it could be in the form of even viewing their content. Like, do you want to view their content? If you don't, if it's causing you to be anxious or to feel angry and you're sinning in your own spirit, then you have the decision to cut that off, right? You have that decision. So never feel as if you don't have a decision. You do, right? You have a choice to make, and you can do that. Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
Good. And so don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to make that decision today. Just remove those people that are not going to help you become more like Jesus Christ, right? Remove those people. Now, obviously, there's some people you can't remove, right? If you're married, and this isn't, I'm not talking about the extreme cases, but if you're married to someone and maybe they have not been considerate of you emotionally or spiritually, maybe that's a conversation you need to have, right? And you work through that. But I'm talking about someone who is expendable, who's easily expendable, like on social media. You don't got to tolerate people's nonsense, right? If it's going to cause you to have sleepless nights, if it's going to cause you to be all anxious in your spirit, if it's going to cause you resentment and bitterness towards your family because of what you've read or what you've seen or what you hear on social media, whether it be on Facebook or Twitter or any other things, and it's bringing up old memories and it's bringing up trauma or resentment or anger, then just let it go, right? Be freed in yourself and let it go and have a clear conscience before the Lord so that you can enjoy your life and live for the glory of God, right? So I just want to share that with you all today. We have a decision to make in our own lives, the kind of people we want to have in our lives. And we want to have people in our lives that are going to challenge us in godliness, that are going to help grow us or help us move forward in the things of God, or people that we're able to mentor and disciple and speak into their lives. And we want to have people that are spurring us on in our lives, right? And so those are the types of people that we want in our life. That's a personal inventory, right, for all of us, by way of application. Who do you have in your life? Are these people worth having in your life, right? I'm talking about social media. I'm talking about people that you interact with on a daily basis. Maybe it's people from your past, right? Maybe it's an old relationship, all sorts of things. So, right, the application runs far and wide, right? Deep and wide. Like, wherever you're at, take a mental and a physical assessment and say, what type of people am I allowing in my life? Are these people abusive to me? Or am I abusive to them, right? We also need to examine ourselves and say, have I been an abusive type of individual? Have I been an individual who has been condemning toward my brothers and sisters in the faith? If that is the case, number one, repent right, within yourself. And then number 2, as best you can, try to make it right with those that you've hurt and change your ways, right? Don't continue to be that way. And so those are some things that I want us to consider today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment down below. So we don't need, right? There's an old song. Y'all know this. Come on now. Y'all know this one. No more drama in my life. Mary J said it, right? She said, no more drama in my life. I don't need the drama in my life. You don't need the drama in your life, okay? So, something for you to consider today. For those of you who would like to hear more, you can find anything I do on myproverbiallife.com, or you can subscribe to the podcast, the Proverbial Life podcast, on all podcast outlets. Anyway, love y'all. Grace and peace. Until next time, look to Christ, live wisely, leave a legacy. Grace and peace.